Quick update, 8,904 subscribers, so only 96 more to 9,000. So the dream of 10,000 by Christmas is on. So if you haven't yet subscribed, please be another one to help me get there before Christmas. Cheers, thanks to everybody yet again. Anyway, on to the video. It's back to the Premier League and it's back to yet another away game. Now, before the Forest game, I said that thankfully we had 3 of the next 4 games at home, and we've contrived to lose both of those games by 3 goals with an aggregate score of 1-7. So home or away, it doesn't really seem to matter much at the moment. Although away from home in the league, we've played 6, won 2, lost 4. But the 2 wins came in the first 2 away games of the season. The 4 defeats have been the last 4 against Crystal Palace, Chelsea, Brentford and Man City. Our last away win was September the 14th with the 95th minute Mo Salah penalty. Now, if you know me personally or you've watched my videos, I'm generally quite positive, or at least I try to be positive, because I genuinely believe that we'll win most games that we play, or at least I did until like now. For all our recent woes, I was convinced we'd beat Forest at home, and even after that debacle, I was convinced that Slot wouldn't make the same mistakes again and that we'd bounce back against PSV and we'd win that one too. But we lost them both by 3 goals, and the performance was so desperately poor, and the team on the pitch looked just as lost as the manager on the sidelines. And surely, no matter what your stance on the manager at the moment, you've got to agree with that statement. So no, for once, I'm not really confident about this one. And of course, I hope I'm wrong. I hope my fears are completely unfounded and we get a nice, solid, well-deserved win. But I'm going to lay out the stats now, the results, the recent form for both teams, and I think you'll see why I'm more than a little bit concerned about this game. So let's get into it. Now brace yourself, because these stats paint a pretty glum picture. I don't really need to remind you, but it has to be said, this is our worst run of results for 73 years, since 1952-53. It's 9 defeats in 12 games, and in every one of those 9 defeats, we've conceded the first goal. In those 12 games, we've conceded 2 or more goals in 8 of them. In 4 of the games, we've conceded 3, and in 1 of the games, we've conceded 4. And in our last 3 games, losing them all, we've scored 1 and conceded 10, with 2 of those games at Anfield. So we're leaking goals like a sieve. And we go into this game not only with a disastrous 12-game run, but one which is actually on a continuous downward trajectory. Early on in this run, we were losing away games in the last minute of a game. Now we're being comprehensively outplayed and beaten by multiple goals. Our league form over the last 7 games is 19th best in the league, with 1 win and 6 defeats. And I have no pleasure quoting these stats. I do stats on all of these videos, but these are the facts. They can't be sugarcoated. As for West Ham, now I watched them earlier in the season under Graham Potter, and they were genuinely awful. They couldn't string 2 passes together and looked every bit like relegation candidates. Potter got 6 wins in his 23 league games as West Ham manager. So the club saw what was going on, realised their mistake, and they acted. They knew that Nuno was available, and he got rid of Potter, and he very quickly brought Nuno in. So Nuno came in just a few games ago, and in his 7 league games so far, he's got 2 wins, 2 draws and 3 defeats. But the last 3 games, now that he's settled in, are 2 wins and a draw. So he's taken a squad devoid of any confidence, playing like complete strangers, and turned it around almost immediately. So they go into this game with momentum and confidence that didn't seem possible in September. They had 1 win and 4 defeats in Potter's 5 league games this season, and were second bottom of the league. At the time, we had a perfect record of 5 wins and were sitting clear at the top. They've now got 2 wins and 1 draw in Nuno's last 3 league games. They beat Newcastle at home 3-1, and that was their first home win since February. They went 9 months without a home win before Nuno came in. And then they followed that up with another home win against Burnley, 3-2. So after 9 months of no home wins under Nuno, they've got 2 on the bounce. And they also drew away from home 2-2 with Bournemouth, and were 2-0 up in that game. It took a Bournemouth penalty and then an 81st minute equaliser for Bournemouth to salvage something from that game. So it's fair to say he's made a real impact, and we now face a confident, organised West Ham who'll be smelling blood at the same time as our confidence is at rock bottom. In our last 3 games, we've conceded 3, 3 and 4. We've scored 1 and conceded 10 for a -9 goal difference in 3 games, compared to West Ham's +3 goal difference in their last 3 games. And yeah, all of this is because they got Nuno, and guess what? He's the manager who masterminded our only home defeat last season and then got a draw at the City ground. So Arne Slot and Liverpool didn't beat Nuno last season because he always has an organised team, very structured, very organised, and he always plays to their strengths. So with Forest, he had incredibly organised defence, super speedy wingers, and a target man in Chris Wood, and he played to that. At West Ham, he's got real talent in the likes of Jared Bowen and Lucas Paqueta and Mateus Fernandes, players capable of winning them games, and he'll use them like that. And they're going to be well up on confidence given how things have gone in their last 3 games. Arne Slot cannot afford to get this wrong. From his starting 11 to his in-game management to his substitutions and his tactics. But he couldn't afford to get it wrong against Forest and PSV either, and he did twice. With the same mistakes made against Forest, repeated against PSV, and with the same results, going down by 3 goals in each game. Now, onto some really important information I'm getting out of Anfield. Now look, I know there are many dodgy channels and mainstream media even who quote sources that they don't have. I've even called them out on this channel because they make stuff up for effect. I'm not making this up. This is coming directly out of Anfield. I promise you. I wouldn't say it if it wasn't true. What I've been told is that Arne Slot has been given 5 games to prove he's the man to take us forward. And if the hierarchy aren't convinced by the time the final whistle goes after the Inter game, he'll be gone. Now, you might pick up on the fact that the Inter game is only actually 4 games from now. But that's because Slot was informed of the 5-game ultimatum prior to the PSV game, which he lost 4-1. So these next 4 games are West Ham away, Sunderland at home, Leeds away, and Inter away. 3 away games of the next 4. So assuming this information I've been given is correct, and I'm convinced it is because of the source, and I'll say again, I wouldn't say it if I didn't believe it. This is a manager under extreme pressure going into these games. And when people are under pressure, they can do irrational things, like repeating the Forest mistakes almost to a T against PSV. So, Arne Slot can react to this ultimatum in 2 ways. He can buckle down, fight on, roll his sleeves up, and give it his best shot at proving to the doubters that he is indeed the man to take us forward. Or he might be already resigned to his fate. And my worry after watching that PSV game is that he might be, but I hope I'm wrong. Now, for the record, I said after the PSV game that I'd finally come to the conclusion that Slot is not the man to take us forward. And it took a lot of soul searching for me to get to that point, because like most Reds, I do not like to see our managers lose their jobs. And I say this with all sincerity. I would be thrilled to be wrong. Because if Slot and the team can regroup and they can turn this around, get back on track, start winning games again, start performing again, nothing would make me happier. And if Arne Slot is still with us at the end of the season, it'll be because that's exactly what he's been able to do. And while he's still here, and as of right now, with the club haven't decided to stick with him for at least the next few games, just like every player who pulls on the shirt, I'll support him and hope to God he can pull it off. But to do so, it begins with him. It begins with him playing the correct, balanced, structured starting 11, playing the players with fight, desire and a will to win, and making the right tactical, strategic and influential substitutions that enhance the chance of success, not diminish it. This may well be the defining game, not only of our season, but of Slot's tenure. Because another defeat is disastrous for the players, for us fans, and for the manager. But a win, and maybe, just maybe, it's the first step on the road to recovery that we are all so desperate to see. This game's massive, and it's going to tell us an awful lot. You'll never walk alone. Cheers. Bye for now. See you after the game. Ta-ra.